Rintaro was a 16-year-old delinquent with scary looks who studies in a school full of dumb delinquents. However, his life suddenly changes when he falls for a cute girl from the elite private school next door where everyone hates delinquents like him. The story starts with two delinquents cornering three high school students in the city, blaming them for bumping into them. The redhead tries to explain that they were the ones who bumped into him. But it turns out that the delinquents are doing this on purpose because they have beef with the student's tall blonde friend who scared their junior. The redhead immediately realizes that they are talking about Rintaro, and he tells the delinquents to talk to him if they want. And just then, the guy himself arrives there. As the delinquents turn back to face him, they crap their pants on seeing his scary face. Rintaro just asks him if his friends were bothering them so that he can apologize on their behalf. But the delinquents run as fast as my father when he heard about my birth. Rintaro then turns to his friends and tells them to stop bothering people. And the redhead Uzami lashes at him, saying that they were the victims here. Uzami then says that it is all his fault for scaring their junior. And as they head to school, Rintaro realizes the reason behind the problem. He reveals that last night, he saw a guy getting dumped and slapped by his girlfriend, and he felt bad for him. He tried to comfort him, but seeing his face must have scared him instead, and he ran away instantly. Well, Rintaro's friends totally understand the boy's reaction, because everyone would be scared to see his menacing face at night. Just then, they come across some girls from the neighboring Kikayo private school going to their classes. The girls give a look of extreme disgust and disappointment as they see Rintaro and his friends, simply because they are from the neighboring Chidori High School where only delinquents study. One of them drops her handkerchief and Uzami picks it up to return it to her. But the girl coldly tells him that he can throw it away because she has lost all desire to use it again after he touched it with his dirty hands. Well, Uzami is Delulu's last boss, and he just says that the girls must be flustered by his good looks, even though he knows that the princess complex girls from Kikayo want nothing to do with the idiots at Chidori. Rintaro is also aware of how intensely the girls from Kikayo hate their school, and because of that, they have put curtains in all their classrooms so that the boys can't see them. However, he doesn't really care because people like him aren't going to deal with the rich girls that study there even after graduation. After school, Rintaro runs home in rain because he has to help out at his family's cake shop. He asks his mom if she is sure that she wants a scary guy like him to greet the customers, and she tells him that they only have one customer right now and more won't come in the rain. She leaves the shop with that, and Rintaro heads to the counter, thinking about how he has never mentioned his family's cake business to anyone at school. He then decides to check on the only customer they have right now, and he is shocked to see a cute petite girl who has just eaten a full family serving of cakes. The girl turns red as soon as she sees Rintaro, and he immediately fetches her a glass of water. He then starts wondering where did all that food go, but the girl gets nervous and runs away in a hurry, and Rintaro thinks he scared her away. Later, he talks with his mom about the incident, who reveals that the girl Kaoru is a regular at their shop, and they have become good friends as well. Rintaro apologizes in case she doesn't return to the shop after he scared her today, but his mom believes that Kaoru isn't that type of girl. She also tells her son to stop blaming himself for everything, but that doesn't really help much, and Rintaro is gloomy about the incident even the next day. His friends see that something is bothering him and try talking about it, but he tells them that everything is fine, keeping up a certain distance between them. Later that day, as Rintaro is reading manga in his room, his mom comes running there to inform him that Kaoru is there at the shop and she wants to see him. Rintaro goes downstairs to meet her and apologize for his behavior, but he is stunned speechless when Kaoru nervously offers to treat him to a cake slice. He can't process what is happening, even when they are sitting at the same table. And then Kaoru apologizes for running away on seeing him yesterday. She asks him to consider the cake as her apology, but Rintaro sees that she is literally drooling while staring at the slice, and he asks her to eat it instead. Kaoru can't resist the temptation and starts eating the cake, and once she is finished, she apologizes again. After that, she introduces herself and asks Rintaro to introduce himself too, and he is curious about why someone as cute as her wants to know more about him. However, Kaoru mumbles that she finally knows his name now, and he asks her what she means by that. She gets flustered as she explains that she saw him helping around the shop sometimes, so she was curious about him. Rintaro is taken aback at this because he doesn't remember seeing her, but then he realizes that Kaoru didn't run away because she was scared. He asks her about it, and she affirms, saying that she ran away because no guy has ever stared at her like that before, and she was too shy to face him. She starts blushing again, and Rintaro can't believe that his face can make a person feel another emotion besides fear. As he takes another look at Kaoru's blushing face, he starts blushing himself and panics. He tells her that it is too dark already and he will walk her to the station, but Kaoru says that she needs to buy some more cake first. Ultimately, she refuses his offer to walk her to the station, saying that it is nearby. She begins to walk away, leaving Rintaro completely blank, but then turns around to tell him that she has never found him scary. However, neither of them notice the two delinquents from earlier, who were watching the entire thing, and they decide to get their revenge against Rintaro by hurting Kaoru. Meanwhile, Rintaro runs straight to his room and bundles himself up in front of the door. For as far as he can remember, people have been scared of him, so when Kaoru told him that she didn't find him scary, it was a life-altering moment for him. Just then, his mom slams open his door, hitting him in the head. Rintaro is about to throw a tantrum, but then his mom shows him the cake that Kaoru just bought. She tells him that she found it outside in the street when she was closing the shop, and feels that Kaoru must be in some sort of danger. Rintaro immediately runs outside to see if she is safe, unaware that the delinquents have cornered her in a dark alley. They keep trying to get closer to her, and Kaoru can only nervously tell them to get away. Meanwhile, Rintaro is starting to panic because he can't find Kaoru, when suddenly, he hears the voice of the delinquents. He goes to their location and finds them asking Kaoru if she is dating Rintaro. She refuses, and they tell her that it is obvious because no girl would want to go out with a scary delinquent like him. They begin telling her about how Rintaro has been scary ever since he was in middle school, and they have heard from his former classmates that he is not a good person. They even tell her that he goes to a school for dumb people now, and has a bunch of lackeys there as well. Rintaro just silently hears it all because he can't deny that his school is full of dumb delinquents. He accepts the fact that he was always scary, and there is no way he can stop people from spreading bad rumors about him. However, Kaoru tells the delinquents that Rintaro is not a scary person, and they shouldn't judge him from baseless gossip. She asks if they have even tried to talk to him properly because he is a nice guy, but they tell her that there is no point in that. Kaoru tells them that it is fine if they don't want to talk with Rintaro, but they should stop talking about him behind his back. This makes the thugs angry, and one of them says that he doesn't care about getting back at Rintaro anymore because he wants to punish her first. He throws a punch at Kaoru, but Rintaro immediately rushes in to protect her, taking the punch and hitting his head against the shutter because of the impact. He starts bleeding and then turns to the delinquents, asking if they have business with him. Seeing the rage in his eyes is enough to make the delinquents run away as fast as they can, and then suddenly, Kaoru rushes towards Rintaro, trying to wipe blood off his face. She apologizes while looking really concerned and hurt that he got injured because of her, but Rintaro tells her that it is not her fault. He could have stopped the punch if he wanted, but he wanted to take it as a punishment for not believing her when she told him that he was not scary. He apologizes to her for not trusting her when she was so sincere earlier, and also for putting someone as nice as her through a scary experience. In response, Kaoru just says that she can't see why people think a kind person like him is scary, and Rintaro feels his past trauma from being judged about his looks melting away. He then walks Kaoru to the station, telling her to be careful on the way. She thanks him for saving her, and then as he is heading back, she yells that she will come to the shop again soon, and they should have cake together then. Rintaro heads home with that, and Kaoru can only think about the moment he hugged her while protecting her. The next day, Rintaro reaches school really early because he couldn't sleep last night, wondering when he will meet Kaoru again. He starts staring at Kikayo School's building out of boredom when he notices someone opening the curtain. He is curious about it because he has never seen those curtains open, but as soon as he sees Kaoru's face behind the window, he panics and pulls the curtains of his classroom instead, realizing that she is from the school that hates boys like him. Soon after that, Yuzami comes to the classroom, and he starts sulking in front of Rintaro, who can only ask him what the hell happened. Yuzami throws a tantrum, saying that it is the damned girls from Kikayo. He says that they kept glaring at him all the way from home to school, and today he snapped out at them too. He says that he didn't want to join Chidori High in the first place, but just then, his other friends Saku and Ayato arrive there, saying that no other school would have accepted someone as dumb as him. They agree with Yusami that they don't like Kikayo girls, but that is only because they hate them for no reason at all. While they keep talking shit about Kikayo School, Rintaro Loki zones out. His friends talk about his injury, but he doesn't pay them any mind. But when they ask him if he pulled the curtains, he suddenly snaps back to reality. He realizes that he forgot to put the curtains back in their normal place, but his friends don't mind it. They say that he must have been pissed, staring at the Kikayo school building, and in an attempt to overcompensate, Rintaro gets up and yells that he shut the windows just because the sun was too bright. His friends are taken aback by his reaction, but Saku feels that Rintaro is hiding something because he usually prefers sunlight and warmth. Anyway, the class starts and Rintaro keeps thinking about Kaoru. He recalls that she looked really shocked when she saw him, and it was rude of him to shut the window in her face. He wonders if she will come to his shop again after learning the truth about him. But he feels that it is better this way because a girl from Kikayo would never want to associate with a guy from Chidori in the first place. As the class ends, Yuzami asks Rintaro to hang out with them, and after confirming that his mom doesn't need any extra workers today, he decides to spend some time with his bros. They head outside while discussing their plans, but then suddenly stop as they see a huge crowd at the school gate. They join the crowd to know what is happening, and one guy says that a girl from Kikayo is waiting outside the gate. As Rintaro peeks over the crowd and sees Kaoru standing there, he has a panic attack. He wonders why is she here, but then suddenly, Yuzami goes out to confront her. He is too pissed at Kikayo today, and he yells at Kaoru, asking what the hell does she want. She is a bit scared of him but tells him that she is waiting for someone, and Yuzami gets even more mad at that. Rintaro immediately steps in to stop him from scaring Kaoru any further, pulling him back by his hood. He apologizes to Kaoru for his friend's rudeness, and she tells him that it is okay. Yuzami, on the other hand, starts sulking that a girl from Kikayo is waiting for someone from Chidori, but then he starts crying because he is jealous. Rintaro is glad that his friend is an idiot who didn't understand that Kaoru is here to see him, but just then, two of Kaoru's friends come running to get her. They push Yuzami aside as they ask Kaoru to return to their side because if she stays here, the stupidity of the Chidori boys will infect her too. The girls from Kikayo are at the gate too because this is a rare sight for them as well. Kaoru's friends pull her back to their school, refusing to listen to her explanations. Yuzami tries to stop them, asking the girls to apologize for bumping into him, but they slap his hand away and glare at him like he is a disgusting pest. They take Kaoru away with that, but she keeps looking back at Rintaro, who also can't stop staring at her. After that, the boys head to the market, and Yuzami is even more pissed now. Rintaro, on the other hand, wonders if Kaoru really came to see him. He gets confused and happy at the same time as he entertains this thought, and when his friends turn back, they tell him that he looks more scary than ever now. Anyway, they soon reach a karaoke place, and while Yuzami sings, Rintaro tries to pick a song. Seeing him lost in thoughts for too long, the perceptive Saku asks if anything happened recently. Rintaro suddenly starts feeling guilty and conscious as his friends stare at him for answers, and he debates if he should tell them about Kaoru or keep everything a secret. He thinks that his friends will judge him for being close to a girl from Kikayo, so he decides to hide everything from them and says that he is completely fine. While Yuzami and Ayato believe him, Saku's doubts become even stronger. Later, Rintaro heads home, and he is surprised to see the cake shop still open way past its opening time. As soon as he enters the shop, he finds Kaoru waiting for him, and she looks a bit nervous to face him. Rintaro is even more nervous now, and he asks her what she is doing here at this time. Kaoru suddenly apologizes to him for causing a scene earlier today because underestimated the hatred between their schools. Rintaro tells her that it doesn't bother him at all, and just then, his mom comes outside, scolding him for not even leaving a message that he would be late. She says that Kaoru was waiting for him all this time without knowing when he will be back, and Rintaro is surprised to hear that. His mom then offers Kaoru to stay a bit longer so that she can pack some leftover cake for her. Kaoru says that she is full, but her stomach says that it is empty, and both Rintaro and his mom start laughing at that. She gets embarrassed, but then Rintaro asks her if she would like to eat cake together with him. She decides to stay after all, and Rintaro notices that she looks the happiest when she is eating. Kaoru then apologizes for the incident earlier again, but Rintaro tells her that it is no big deal. He asks her why did she come there anyway, and she replies that she wanted to see him. His heart skips a beat on hearing this, and he apologizes for his Yuzami's behavior. He blurts out that he was a bit too late in coming out to stop him because he was too happy to see her, but immediately gets conscious and embarrassed after saying this. He decides to take his words back, but Kaoru quickly tells him that she won't allow him, and both of them get too flustered to even look at each other. They keep eating the cake nervously while Rintaro says that he thought she wouldn't come to the store ever again. Kaoru suddenly sobers up on hearing that and asks why he thought that. He replies that it was only natural to think that because they are from enemy schools and she wouldn't want to hang out with him anymore. Kaoru gets really sad on hearing this and says that she was happy when she found out that he studied at Chidori High. Rintaro can't even process what she just said, and then Kaoru suddenly gets up to leave. He calls her name and she turns back at the door, saying that when she found that he studied at Chidori, she thought she would see him more often and know about him. She turns awfully sad after saying that and leaves the store immediately. Rintaro is utterly confused now, and as he wonders why Kaoru looked so sad in the end, his mom arrives there. She asks him if Kaoru has already left, and when he turns around to face her, even she gets scared of his ghastly face. She immediately takes him to the living room to learn more about the issue, and then hits her son's head with a lethal finger flick, telling him that he should have been a better man, and ran after Kaoru the moment she left the store. She tells him to go after her right now to make sure she reaches home safely, but Rintaro is weighed down by his thoughts. He asks his mom what Kaoru meant when she said she was happy to meet him, and she is disgusted at his inability to understand such a clear hint. Rintaro then asks her why would Kaoru want to meet her even when she is from Kikayo, and the woman loses her cool at this. She tells Rintaro that he has always hated being judged based on his appearances, but now he is doing the same thing to Kaoru. She reminds him that Kaoru didn't change her attitude towards him even when she got to know he was from Chidori, but he has been bringing up her school in everything. Rintaro finally realizes his mistake on hearing this, and he punches himself to vent out his frustration. The next morning, as Kaoru reaches her school, still depressed from the incidents of last night, she is shocked to see Rintaro waiting for her at the school gate. She asks him what is he doing here, and he immediately apologizes for hurting her feelings yesterday. Kaoru suddenly bundles up on hearing this, feeling embarrassed that he made him worry about her, and Rintaro tells her that it is all his fault. She tells him that he is too kind, and Rintaro decides to be honest with her because she has always been honest with him. He says that he subconsciously tried pushing her away because he thought that being close to him would hurt her, especially given the hatred between their schools. However, he is no longer going to focus on that, and focus on her instead. Kaoru feels really happy on hearing that, and she gets up, telling Rintaro that she is fine now. She tells him that their schools and backgrounds don't matter anymore, and she wants to know more about him as a person. They exchange numbers with that and keep texting each other as they head to their classes. No one else has arrived at school yet, so Kaoru decides to open the curtains to see Rintaro from her classroom. As soon as she sees him, she starts jumping in joy, and he feels a very strong urge to get closer to her and know more about her. A couple weeks later, summer arrives, and frustrated by the heat, Yusami suggests Rintaro that they should head to the staff room to sit in AC. On the way, Yusami begins yapping about how bored he is, but then he suddenly remembers that the sports festival is going to be held soon, and they both should aim for the top. However, just as they reach the staff room, a teacher tells them that they both can't take part in the sports meet, and Yusami feels his dream shattering in front of him. He lashes out at the teacher, asking why they can't participate in the sports festival, and the teacher reminds him that students who fail their midterms have to take a supplementary exam around the same time as the sports festival. Yusami tells the teacher that the midterms are yet to start, and he can't be so sure that they will fail. But when the teacher asks him if he is confident to pass, he clearly says that he is confident that he will fail. The teacher wasn't expecting anything better, but then Yusami begs him to give him some sort of incentive to pass the test. He tells him that if he passes the exam and then wins at the sports festival, he will treat him to ice cream. However, the motivation Yusami gets from that is short-lived, and by the time he reaches class, he is panicking again. He begs Saku to help him out because he is the only one with more than 3 brain cells in their group. Saku refuses because last year, he wrecked his brain while teaching Yusami, who still failed. While they are arguing in a corner, Ayato goes to check up on Rintaro, who is also confident that he has no chance to pass. Ayato tells him to convince Saku to teach him somehow, but just then, Yusami flips. He says that Saku doesn't want to teach them because he wants to keep them out of the sports festival, but they will pass even without his help. Saku is completely fine with that, and Rintaro is the one who feels hopeless now that he is not going to teach them. Just then, he gets a text from his mom, asking him to invite Kaoru to their shop because they have a discount day today. Rintaro realizes that Kaoru has not visited them for quite some time, and he thinks that she must have run out of her pocket money. Later, as the class starts, Rintaro's full attention is on his smartphone as he wonders if he should really text Kaoru. He somehow gathers the courage to invite her to the shop, but she doesn't reply, and he spends all his time at school waiting for her to even see the text. Only when the classes end does he begin to think that girls at Kikayo might not be allowed to use their phones during class. Luckily, he gets a message from Kaoru soon, and she apologizes because she is too busy this month to come to the cake shop. Rintaro feels disappointed on hearing her response, but then Uzami slams his hands on the table, telling him that they are going to the city library to study. Rintaro follows him, pretty confident that Uzami is going this far just to avoid Saku. They sit down to study, and Uzami realizes really quickly that he is completely hopeless because he can't solve a single question. Rintaro tells him that they should beg Saku for help after all because he is the only one who can teach them. However, Uzami feels too guilty to approach him because he failed despite being taught by Saku last year. He believes that Saku doesn't want to teach him either, but Rintaro says that he is just playing hard to get. He convinces Uzami to go back and apologize to Saku, and then tries focusing on his questions. Suddenly, he notices two girls walking around awkwardly because they can't find an empty table, and Rintaro decides to give up his seat for them. As he walks down the library, he suddenly hears Kaoru's voice and goes to see if it is really her. To his surprise, he finds Kaoru studying for her exams while helping a friend. He gasps on seeing her, but then quickly hides before Kaoru or her friend can notice him. He now realizes that she has been too busy with studies to come to the shop, and that makes sense because she goes to a much better school than him. He keeps on overhearing the conversation, learning that Kaoru likes to doodle on her notebooks while taking breaks, and that she is the school topper. Rintaro suddenly realizes the gap between them and heads outside, thinking that Kaoru is really amazing because she stands at the top of Kikayo where all students are smart. On the other hand, he is a failure from a school of losers. He decides to take a nap because there is no way studying is going to benefit him. But just as he opens his eyes, he finds Kaoru looking at him. Rintaro freaks out on seeing her and asks what is she doing here, but Kaoru is excited to see him again. She tells him that she saw a glimpse of him while he was passing, so she decided to take a break and talk to him. Rintaro gets up and makes space for her, and Kaoru asks him if he came to the library to study as well, to which he nervously affirms. After that, Kaoru apologizes for refusing his invitation to come to his shop, and he tells her that it is no big deal because they have a discount day each month. She replies that she will keep her calendar free next week and also gather enough money from her part-time job by then. Rintaro is shocked to hear that Kaoru has a part-time job because he always thought that she came from a rich family. Kaoru just laughs on hearing that and tells him that she is not rich. She got into Kikayo because of a scholarship, and she has been clinging to the #1 position there to make sure that she continues receiving the scholarship. She begins talking about how hard has it been to study all day long recently, and she has to pinch herself to stay awake during the class. Rintaro asks her why is she going so far, and she replies that she pleaded with her dad to send her to Kikayo despite coming from a middle-class family, and he agreed. Now, she wants to work hard and prove that she was worthy of this opportunity, and she is proud of what she has accomplished till now. Rintaro suddenly realizes that he was judging Kaoru without knowing anything about her yet again, and he feels ashamed of it. However, he works up the courage and requests Kaoru to teach him because he doesn't want to fail this year, especially for the sake of his friends. He suddenly realizes that it is too much to ask for because Kaoru is already busy, but she offers him a rice cake, saying that she will make some time for him. After that, Kaoru decides to return to her friend and tells Rintaro that she has another friend studying with her right now, but she went to buy something. Just then, her other friend Subaru arrives there and everything about her screams. She asks Kaoru what is she doing with a boy and then glances coldly at Rintaro, asking if he is from Chidori. He affirms and Subaru immediately tells him to stay away from Kaoru because she doesn't want his stupidity to rub on her. She then tells Kaoru that they should head back and she will always protect her. Kaoru tries to explain things, but just then, Uzami arrives there with his friends. As soon as they see the girls from Kikayo, their mood turns sour and Subaru is also pissed, saying that more animals have come here. Yuzami quickly goes to confront her, asking what the hell are two girls from Kikayo doing with Rintaro because he wouldn't approach them. Subaru doesn't even pay them any mind and says they should head back. But then Yuzami notices that he has seen Kaoru before. He gets closer to take a better look, and immediately, both Rintaro and Subaru spring up, trying to keep them away for different reasons. While Rintaro just got jealous of another guy getting closer to Kaoru, Subaru is fiercely overprotective of the girl, but she gets confused about why Rintaro would try to save her too. Yuzami is the most confused one because he wasn't doing anything, but Subaru decides to get away from the place quickly. However, Saku picks up the fight where Yuzami left and asks her to answer what she was doing with Rintaro just now. He says that even girls from Kikayo can be dumb enough to not understand a question, and then gets even more personal, asking her about her weird-ass hair color. He says that her school must permit dyeing her hair because she is just a spoiled rich princess, and those words hurt Subaru. Kaoru tries to speak up for her, but Rintaro beats her to that, asking Saku to stop because he is not the guy to act mean to someone without any reason. He then reminds his friends that Kaoru was the girl who was waiting outside their school a few days ago, and he spotted her at the library. He says that he approached her to apologize for scaring her that day, so it is not her fault that she was with him. The boys suddenly remember that, and then Ayato reminds Yuzami that he was the one who actually scared Kaoru. Yuzami immediately walks towards her and Subaru enters her overprotective mode again. But then Yuzami apologizes to Kaoru for being rude to her just because she is from Kikayo. In response, Kaoru bows down to apologize to him for causing the disturbance that day, and Subaru panics because she doesn't want anyone to see a Kikayo student apologizing to a Chidori student. However, Kaoru asks her to apologize as well because she was rude just now, but Subaru's pride doesn't allow her to do that and she simply walks away. Kaoru apologizes once again as she rushes after her friend, but now Yuzami and others are confused about the real nature of Kikayo girls. They think that Subaru is a bitch, but they have got Saku on their side who was able to talk her down. They say that he did it for their sake and Saku gets embarrassed, saying that it is their fault for not being able to stand up for themselves. On the other hand, Kaoru also tells Subaru that she should have behaved better, even though she has trouble dealing with men. Like any modern feminist, Subaru replies that all men are wild animals, and those from Chidori are even worse. However, she is curious about Rintaro because he stood up for her, and she asks Kaoru about him. Kaoru blushes as she says that he is a very kind person, but Subaru gets lost in her thoughts and doesn't hear the rest. Later that night, Rintaro is trying his best to revise what Saku taught them earlier, but he can't make any progress. Suddenly, he gets a text from Kaoru asking if they can talk, and he immediately replies to her. The next moment, he gets a call from Kaoru that he was not ready for, and she also seems quite nervous. She apologizes for Subaru's behavior earlier today, and Rintaro apologizes on behalf of his friends too. Kaoru then apologizes that he had to lie for her sake and says that he looked very cool doing it. Rintaro starts blushing on hearing that, and he realizes that whenever he has been talking to Kaoru lately, he has not been able to fully understand his emotions. Kaoru then sets a time and place for their study session, and on realizing that the call is about to end, Rintaro gets impatient. He tells her that she can drop the formal tone with him and be casual instead, and Kaoru tells him that she will do it the next time. She ends the call with that, and both of them think they are the only ones who feel flustered and embarrassed after the call. Soon, the day of their joint study session arrives and Rintaro wakes up early in the morning, even without any alarm. He stares at the messages he exchanged with Kaoru repeatedly, and that is the cause of half his screen time in the recent days. After that, he gets on a train to go to their meeting spot, and though he appears calm outside, his mind is a mess. He can't believe that he is meeting Kaoru on a weekend, and he wonders if he is wearing the right clothes for the occasion. He arrives at the destination much earlier than they had planned and wonders how he should pass the time till then. But to his surprise, Kaoru is already there as well, and she seems overdressed for a simple study session. Rintaro apologizes for making her wait, and she tells him that she arrived a bit early because she was too nervous. He tells her that he is the same, and then suddenly, he gets flustered because Kaoru looks cuter than usual today. They go to a nearby cafe after that to eat before studying, and Kaoru says that she always wanted to try out this place. Rintaro is once again reminded how much she enjoys eating, and he keeps glancing at her from time to time. After they are done eating, Kaoru starts the study session and asks Rintaro what subject should they cover first. He tells her that he needs the most help with math because he can probably manage other things. He shows her the questions he is having problem with, and as Kaoru leans in to see them, they both realize that they are too close to each other. They immediately back away and get super flustered about it. But then Kaoru starts telling Rintaro how to solve the questions, but he finds it really hard to concentrate on studies because of how fast his heart is beating. Anyway, they continue their study session and Kaoru asks Rintaro why is he so determined because she remembers that he doesn't want to fail this year at any cost. He tells her that there is a sports festival after the exams, and if he can't pass the exams, he won't be able to participate in that. He really wants to take part in the sports festival with his friends even though he knows that it is a lame reason to study hard. Kaoru tells him that it is not a lame reason at all and then remarks that Rintaro must really love his friends. He almost spits water on hearing this and says that he won't go as far as to say that he loves those morons. However, Kaoru believes that he is just being shy. She tells him that she loves her friends a lot, especially Subaru, who has been close to her ever since childhood. She explains that Subaru had some issues with boys in the past, and that makes her seem like a bitch, but in reality she is a really kind person. She thanks Rintaro not for judging her when he met her earlier, and he feels really happy on hearing that. They resume their study session with that, and the evening soon arrives. They decide to go home and Rintaro thanks Kaoru for helping him out. But she has another surprise for him. She gives him a notebook with an elaborate study plan and important questions that can come in his exam. Rintaro is stunned to read it, and he tells Kaoru that she didn't need to go out of her way to do this for him when she has her own exams to worry about. She tells him that it is fine, and she did it because she wants him to pass. She asks him to have fun at the sports festival with his friends and then tell her all the stories about it. She leaves with that, and Rintaro is sure that with her notes, he won't fail. He decides to head home as well, when suddenly, someone grabs him from behind. He turns around to find that it is Subaru, who tells him that she needs to talk to him. Rintaro follows her to a cafe, but she doesn't speak anything and instead silently sips her coffee. He is confused now and wonders what does she even want from him. Suddenly, she asks him if he is Kaoru's boyfriend, and Rintaro spills his coffee on his hands. Subaru offers him her handkerchief to wipe it off, and he accepts it even though he can't understand why is she behaving so differently compared to the last time. After that, they introduce themselves to each other and Subaru repeats her question about Rintaro being Kaoru's boyfriend. He gets flustered and tells her that they are not dating, and Subaru asks him to describe their relationship to her in that case. Rintaro gets confused about what to say because he is not sure if he and Kaoru are technically friends yet. Subaru then asks him if they met recently, and once he affirms, she tells him to stop meeting Kaoru after today. Rintaro is shocked to hear this and asks her if it is because he is from Chidori. She affirms, and he tells her that even though their schools hate each other, it has nothing to do with him as a person. Subaru tells him that she believes him, and she also realizes that he is not a bad person. She apologizes for saying bad things to him and his friends the other day at the library, but she hates men so she can't help it. She then tells Rintaro that the teachers at Kikayo hate Chidori even more than the students, and if they found out that their top student Kaoru is hanging out with a boy from Chidori, they might do some really stupid and hateful things. That is why she doesn't want him to get involved with Kaoru ever again. Just then, a boy enters the cafe with his mom, and as he is running around, he trips near Rintaro's table. Rintaro and Subaru get up to help him at the same time, and Subaru reaches the boy first because she is close. She helps him get up and returns his toy to him, and then the boy suddenly remarks that her hair color looks super pretty. As the boy leaves, Subaru tells Rintaro that Kaoru said the same thing about her hair when they first met. She still vividly remembers how boys used to bully her for having a unique hair color, but one day, Kaoru saved her from them and told her that her hair was really pretty. She became her hero and friend ever since that day, and now she wants to protect her. Subaru suddenly explodes with emotions, telling Rintaro that he doesn't know anything about Kaoru and how hard she has worked to achieve what she has right now. She doesn't want all of it to be taken away from her because she is kind to a boy from Chidori. She knows that it is not the right thing and Kaoru might never forgive her for it, but she wants to protect her present happiness at all costs. Subaru once again begs Rintaro to stay away from Kaoru, and he begins thinking about how their schools hate each other. He knows that Subaru is being as sincere as she can, but then Kaoru's face pops up in his mind, smiling at him as she says that she doesn't care about anything else and she just wants to know more about him. Rintaro apologizes to Subaru, saying that he cannot do as she says, and she quietly accepts his decision. She already knew in her heart that Rintaro wouldn't give up on Kaoru, just like she won't give up on him. Rintaro leaves soon after that and Subaru stays back, wondering what is she even doing. Meanwhile, he gets on the train and tries to study using Kaoru's notes, but he can't focus at all. He lets out a dissatisfied sigh and the boys sitting near him panic, wondering if they pissed off the scary-looking guy. However, Rintaro is just thinking how different Subaru was from what he imagined, and he wonders if he can be so sincere for someone else's sake as well. Just then, the train stops at the next station and two girls climb in. They look for seats, but every seat is occupied and only one seat is left next to Rintaro. He gets up to offer his seat to them, and the girls immediately recognize him as the guy who gave up his seat at the library for them last week. They approach him and thank him for the other day, and Rintaro gradually remembers their faces. He asks them if their study session went well, and the girls get nervous because they are still scared of him. However, he smiles gently at them and wishes them all the best in their studies before walking off, and the girls realize that he is actually really kind. Meanwhile, Rintaro is also shocked that the girls gathered the courage to thank him, and that reminds him that Kaoru also thanks him for the smallest of things. He keeps thinking about how kind she is, and he believes that she must have saved Subaru over and over again. He suddenly starts wondering if he made the right decision by turning down Subaru's request. Soon after that, the exams at Chidori get over and the teacher hypes up the results. He calls Usami and Rintaro forward and then proudly declares that they didn't fail. The entire class breaks into a celebration on hearing that both of them managed to pass and Rintaro even managed to score above 50 marks. Their friends are taken aback by this reaction, but the rest of the class is still not over this literal miracle just yet. One boy interviews Usami about how he is feeling, and he replies that he stared at the words so hard that now his eyesight has gotten worse. The boy then asks the same question to Rintaro, who tells him that he is happy. Everyone gets emotional on hearing this, and even the teacher starts crying. Usami says all the credit goes to Saku for teaching them, and the entire class gathers around him, calling him the MVP of the exams. Meanwhile, Rintaro is feeling overjoyed because of the results, and he decides to text Kaoru to share the good news with her. But Subaru's words stop him from messaging her. Just then, the rowdy crowd pushes Saku around, and he accidentally topples Rintaro's desk over. As he tries to pick up his things, Saku notices a textbook with a best of luck note from Kaoru, and he asks Rintaro what does this mean. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.